What's up, Bittersons? John here from the Killer Bits, and yeah, normally you'd see Fran at this point, but she's away for a couple of weeks, so I am stepping into her shoes, and I get the pleasure of your company for a couple of weeks, which is nice. Anyway, it's been a pretty slow news week, but there was one thing that did actually catch my eye this week. Apparently Unity has something of an image problem. No, not that Unity. I'm on about the Unity 3D engine. Earlier in the week, Laura Kate Dale did an article for The Guardian, basically talking about how Unity is suffering from the fact that so many indie developers are using it. I mean, it's a powerful engine, but it's almost become synonymous with all the crap you see on Greenlight, because there is an awful lot of it. Just for a bit of background, Unity is a game engine a lot like all the other game engines. So you've got stuff like the Unreal Engine, CryEngine, Frostbite, all those. But where those kind of distinguish themselves from one another with kind of how they handle all the lighting and the particle effects or the in-game physics, Unity's big thing of how it distinguishes itself is its whole ethos. It's got this ethos of democratizing game design so that anyone can become a game designer. It basically gives this really powerful engine that is simple to use to everyone, and this is great in theory, but in practice, well, it leads to an awful lot of crap. Now, I'm going to butcher this name, but at the recent Unite conference, Unity CEO John Riccitiello said, "I think some players have a false perception of Unity that might be of our own making. We require free users to employ a Unity splash screen, but professional users are not. Maybe in terms of how the engine is perceived, we ought to do that the other way around." Basically put, lots of new developers are using Unity to create their first game, which is great. The problem comes along when they try and start selling these slightly more ambitious attempts alongside the more professionally made games in Unity. That's when the appearance of that little cube logo at the start of the game kind of makes you cringe. The idea of democracy and democratizing game design for everyone is fantastic, and giving these kind of really powerful tools to eager new developers to kind of realize their vision is a fantastic one. The whole sticking point really is what happens next. What happens when these new developers have created their first game? I mean, it reminds me a little of the DSLR revolution that happened in filmmaking a few years ago, with kind of the introduction of the new the Canon 5D at the time, and that it gave lots of filmmakers this really powerful tool to create these kind of very filmic projects, and they could do it at a really low cost with incredibly small teams. I mean, even shooting solo, and this was fantastic, and I can see the similarity with this new wave of bedroom coders, and that whole idea of democratizing kind of creativity to everyone is a fantastic one, because it allows people to realize their dreams. But most filmmakers I know, those kind of first films they made, they say they were a great learning experience, but they would never want anybody to ever actually see them, let alone actually pay to watch them. But then you see these kind of, they're kind of somebody's first attempt at making a game start winding up on Greenlight and on Steam itself, and they're asking for money for it. That kind of gets to me. I mean, going back to my film analogy, if a filmmaker, had reached the stage of going, yes, I want to get this out in the world, I'm going to try and attempt to sell this, they'd normally go to a film festival, trying with the vague hope that they might get picked up by a distributor. But that process of trying to get into a film festival, or several film festivals, helps kind of narrow down the field, because you have the selection process for the festival, you have kind of all the critic and audience awards and things like that, you have the fact that the distributor only has a limited pool of cash, and they're only going to pick up a few projects. So that kind of helps separate the good projects from the bad. And even if the filmmaker went the self-distribution route, there aren't that many sites that will kind of allow you to sell your film, whether it's, you know, short or feature or documentary like that, and, you know, put it in front of a paying audience. You have, you know, the free sites like YouTube, Vimeo, and places like that, but to actually put a film in front of a paying audience is difficult. I mean, you have digital distribution now, but it always used to be trying to get a DVD run of something and flogging it on a website. On the flip side of this, you have indie developers that seem to have a lot more avenues to explore when it comes to digital distribution. You have stuff like Google's Play Store, the App Store, Itch.io, Humble. The bar for entry onto Steam alone has kind of been wiped out by the whole Greenlight thing. All these places are places where a first-time developer can actually sell their game. It doesn't matter whether they've actually been to school to learn the craft or not. It doesn't matter if they've spent 2 years making a game or just 2 weeks. It doesn't matter if they've actually put it in front of an audience and seen if it actually works. I mean, there are bad practices in filmmaking, but you know at some point they have to put it in front of an audience, and that's when you know whether the film's working or not. Some of these games are appearing on places like Steam that are just completely broken. You know they've not actually done any testing, and that's what baffles me. I don't think Unity has the problem here. I think it is these kind of small groups of, I'm not going to say bad developers, just mediocre ones, churning out this kind of subpar, well, I'll say it's subpar crap. It's that is what's affecting the image. It's a case of these games are so formulaic. I mean, a lot of them lack any kind of creativity. They are literally just store-bought assets cobbled together and just thrown out there. They don't have any of the developers' personality or creativity in there. They are just kind of cookie cutter, and that is the problem. I mean, that is getting to the whole asset flipping thing, and Jim Sterling does a lot better job of explaining that in one of his Jimquisitions. I'll leave a link down below. But as I say, I don't think the problem is Unity. I think the real problem is places like Steam with the Greenlight. I mean, if they, you know, by some miracle, Valve pulled their head out their ass and actually fix Greenlight, you know, get rid of it and go back to a curated thing where they're actually in charge of what games appear. Yes, it's going to affect the number of games out there. I mean, it's going to hurt those kind of games that are in the middle. You know, they're not absolutely standout brilliant, they're not bad, they're kind of the average games which people have fun playing, but they're not going to grab headlines. Yes, it will affect them, but at least if you see a Unity game on Steam, you'll know it works. I mean, you know, we're huge fans of indie games here at Kilobits. I mean, some of our favourite titles are Unity titles. I mean, stuff like Thomas Was Alone. I mean, Surgeon Simulator is absolutely right to play. You have stuff like The Siege. You've got Gang Beasts is a Unity game. And then there's other games that you wouldn't even realise are Unity titles. Stuff like Plague Inc., City Skylines, Oddworld New and Tasty, Shelter, Wasteland 2. You even have big publishers jumping on the Unity bandwagon with, you know, people like Blizzard. Hearthstone is made in Unity, and Square Enix. A lot of their mobile titles are all made in Unity. And we have some incredibly cool looking projects coming up in the pipeline. We've got stuff like Ukulele is being made in Unity. Mike Bithel's new one, Volume, which I think is out next month. Ghost of a Tale, which looks absolutely adorable. There's stuff like Firewatch, Cuphead, all Unity games, all look absolutely phenomenal. As I say, I don't think Unity has an image problem. I think the problem is Greenlight. There you go. Problem solved. Valve, pull your head out your ass, fix the clusterfuck which is Greenlight, and everything will be all alright. No, I know that's an incredibly simplified argument, incredibly reductive. But I do really think if Valve got rid of Greenlight, and if they went back to that kind of curating it themselves, we'd know games appearing on Steam would work. it would start to kind of heal that kind of whole perception about Unity games being these kind of really low budget things. But as I say, that is just my opinion. I would love to hear what you guys think. You can obviously let us know in the comments below. Also, all the social media links are down there. You can get in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter. I'll also leave a link to the actual article that kind of sparked this debate for me, that was in The Guardian, down below as well, and Jim Sterling's Jimquisitions on the Unity games and all the asset flipping and things like that. But other than that, yeah, I'm going to be back probably for next week's vlog as well, because Fran's away for a couple of weeks. But if you want to get in touch with us, as I say, all the social media, and if you want to help us out make more videos like this, you can do by supporting us and becoming a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/thekillerbits. Anyway, that's me waffling on for long enough. I will leave you to get on with the rest of your days. Okay, catch you later guys. Bye.